talk really quickly about partial versus full decrim, because when we talk about, decriminalizing sex work, prostitution, in quotes, oftentimes it's used as a way to supposedly fight trafficking, but it actually hurts sex workers, it hurts sex trafficking. Can you give us a quick rundown of the difference between partial and full decrim and why it's better?
Yes, so people get confused when we say decriminalization. So when you think of decriminalization, think about like weed, right? Once upon a time, you could get arrested on the street for marijuana. Now, if you're on the street with marijuana, the most that could happen is you get a ticket or a slap on the wrist, or like, hey, don't do that. So when it comes to prostitution, it's a term, it is what it is, it's prostitution. People don't want legalization. Why don't you want legalization? Because legalization often will put you back into the hands of regulation and in the hands of law enforcement to then again morally decide what is right, what is wrong, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and who's allowed to actually exist within the trade. We see this with examples in Nevada, where people who are legally employed to be in the sex trade or do sex work have to have all of these predicaments and all of these qualifications and all of these things that people typically in the sex trade do not have. That's why they're in the sex trade. Okay. So what it does is it creates this dangerous underbelly of work that's happening that is not being quote unquote regulated. So when we talk about full decrim, we're taking away the aspects that are criminalized against the sex worker. So this could be someone who is your roommate who is, now all of a sudden enabling you to do the work because they're paying the rent and you just simply live there. This can be anything from bank accounts. This can be anything from, housing opportunities, et cetera, that you're being discriminated against because you're in the sex trade. And it's not decriminalized, it's illegal. And so by taking away full decrim is by taking away these criminal aspects of just doing your job, it is now decriminalized and we can handle it differently than the legal system. Partial decrim are examples like the Nordic model, or examples where it's not fully taking away criminalization, you're just shifting the narrative onto a different party of the trade. And so we've seen examples of this, of like, in the client, in demand of the client, and they're going after the client so that the sex worker is protected. But in reality, it just continues to put sex workers in the hands of law enforcement and crossing paths with them. So to my best understanding, that is what I understand to be full decrim, partial decrim. And I've been active, in the past with decriminalization here in New York City, with several bills like FOSTA SESTA, the Earn It Act, et cetera. That I'm pretty, adamant about. It's been a while, but I'm looking forward to getting back into those conversations.
And I'm curious how the conversation has evolved. I mean, Mike, there's got to be a more nuanced approach to building trust, building community, and not necessarily allowing government regulation to be totally tied on law enforcement response.
Listen, let me tell you.
Like half the time cops show up and they're not who we need. We need someone who's an advocate who can be like, do you want to be here right now or not? Yes or no? Are you in or are you out? Because that's kind of what we did with street outreach. Is I would be with a detective and I made him stay in the car because he ran people off and he knew that. And I was like, stay over there. And I would go out and I just be like, this is who I didn't lie. I didn't trick them. I didn't hand them some secret message in a mirror. I was just like, I'm here. I've got clothes, food. There's no strings attached. I just want you to know if you're in a situation and you don't want to be in it, there's resources. If you're happy where you're at, all good. I am with a detective. He's not going to bother you. But, that's it. And so sometimes people call a week, a month later, but it was just about it was like community outreach and we would have real conversations. And, the funny part was I would tell my friends this and they'd be like, you're crazy. The pimps are going to get you. And it's like, they don't want me. They just kind of they didn't know what to do with me. They kind of gave me weird looks, but they weren't bugging me because I wasn't really doing much with them either. It was a very illuminating experience. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the decriminalization debate, people aren't willing to go deep into the roots of how we got to a place where we need that level of scrutiny over a woman's body.
Right.
If we want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really, we're talking about that as well.